I'm here today with Puma Fredy Quispe Singona, a very special medicine man based here in Chincero in the Andes. We're joining Puma today in his school, Noqan Kani, a place of ceremony, a place of medicine, a place of community, and somewhere that I feel deeply humbled and grateful to be sitting with Puma to ask him a few questions to share a little bit about his knowledge and his journey today. So welcome, Puma.
Thank you, Shaun. Thank you, wonderful family. Happy to be here with you.
Now, you've lived a pretty extraordinary life, as some people would call it, but for you, with such humbleness and humility, I'd just love to know, and to share with our listeners what it's like, for you holding this sacred dream and this vision for so many people. I want to also honor you and express my gratitude personally because the work you're doing for humanity is huge. But what's it like being a medicine man? What's it like growing up here in Chincero and this being your path and your sacred gift?
Thank you, Shaun. I can say that life here in the Andes is a blessing, and to be able to live among powerful lineages still being alive, the community that maintained these thousands of years heritage alive. And I was blessed to live with my grandfather and be hit by lightning at a very young age. And thanks to surviving that, I was able to learn from grandfather the arts of healing, the arts of um, traveling in the spirit realms, connecting with Pachamama, being in communion with powerful ancestral spirits, connecting with our star lineage. We're children of the sun. So we have this belief that we all come from the sun that never rises, neither sets. And it was awesome. It was wonderful for me to learn ceremonies, rituals from my grandfather. It started so young that for me it was like playing. It was all very natural. I was privileged to still be in touch with a living tradition that within Chincero, many grandfathers were passing, were transitioning without teaching, without transmitting the lineage that they carried. Back in the 80s, 90s, we still had a very strong presence of these powerful traditions. And grandfather got to um, have that opportunity to pass a lot of these teachings to me. And it was a privilege, it was a big honor.
Gracias, thank you for sharing that. Now, your grandfather, Don Maximo, that you're speaking of, I've heard so many beautiful stories about him and can really feel his energy and his essence in working in ceremony with you. What was he like and how was it, growing up and learning from him in particular?
Grandfather was a midwife. He was a powerful healer. He was a servant in the community. He was very humble, just a regular human being living in the mountains, though with powerful gifts. He, at a very early age, discovered the art of healing from his grandmother, and a lot of these traditions was passed on to him. And he practiced that throughout his life. And he always used to say, we just live our lives the way everybody live our lives, just in a greater service. In a greater service because he maintained himself conscious, he maintained himself awake. He was always ahead of whatever hard processes, difficult processes in our community. And he always had the power to be able to support and assist the vulnerable ones, the ones who are struggling, the ones who are having crises and suffering. whether emotionally, psychologically, physically. Everything he had learned that was passed on generation after generation for thousands of years. It was the best secrets, the best ways to support brothers and sisters in those processes. He was never really so much of a big presence in the community, except for his service. Everybody respected him and loved him here in our village for saving lives, for healing people, for birthing, these generations that are arriving. As a midwife, he was always called, he was always needed in the community, but he was always very humble. And this is one of the most important high frequencies of our practice. We are on global planetary healing processes. We are powerful healers, masters, guides, guardians for our family, for our community globally. Though we always have in our homes, in our lives, the presence of spirit, the infinite manifestations of spirit. Grandfather used to say that when you connect with those manifestations of God, of that spirit force, you're really alive. You're not surviving. You're not hardly alive. You are alive when you are in service. You are alive when you're with spirit. You are alive when you're in love, when you are in ceremony. So this was the main teachings of grandfather, and we learned so much. We used to go to the mountains for weeks. In those times, one day was like a year, and in hours we used to experience lifetimes. Everything was about spirit journeys, soul journeys, herbal medicine, um, ancestral medicine, and cosmic forces. That was all our alliance. That was all our work. And it was amazing how this simple, uh, little old man from the mountains carried millenary traditions that um, was missing in most of the communities because it was not being passed on.
Mm. I hope I'm being respectful in saying it sounds a little bit like Yoda from Star Wars. Very humble and very quiet, but has a very powerful spirit and soul. Thank you for sharing that, because I know that's a very personal, touch of Don Maximo and his energy and his medicine. So obviously, being on that path of a medicine man in the West, the name shaman gets thrown around, but really here in the Andes, you're a paku. Am I correct? And can you explain, what is a paku and what is that role within the community and ultimately within humanity as well?
Paco is the original Quechua name for us because Paco means leader. Paco means someone who is in service. Paco means someone who has a pure heart, and it's in the purity of spirit because we're spiritual beings. And Paco also means high priest, high priestess, because of the service that we have in ceremonies, in rituals, in all sacred practices, in all sacred spirited ways of being. So nowadays, it's okay, shamanism or shamans is the name that has been given to all spiritual pilgrims in the planet, leaders, masters, healers. So I I accept any name that is given to us, and we are not just that. We always say, "I am a shaman," also, but when we talk about our self-realization and saying about who we are, we must always refer to the divine mystery. We can never know ourselves even in a whole lifetime. We're constantly yet to be, and at the same time, we're constantly discovering the infinity of who we can be. So, shaman is good, Paco is good, um, but mainly because of the Andean tradition, we are in that sacred spiritual path and spiritual service.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And I'm under the impression that not everybody, gets the title of a paku. So what does that process look like? And some of your initiations or journeys that you've had to take to, embody that rather than, maybe just saying it. What is the essence of that for you?
To be a Paco, even though it sounds a little bit wild nowadays, is actually a self choice. And a lot of people, a lot of native people, indigenous people have difficulty when people from abroad come to these indigenous communities and they call themselves Pacos or shamans or healers. Very early in my training, I learned from grandfather that Pachamama is the one who is giving us our graduation. Mm-hmm. She's the one who is giving us the training. Here in this earth, we can be anybody we choose to be. And if we choose to be medicine, if we choose to be healers, then we're shamans, then we're Pacos. And whatever tradition throughout the planet will open up like portals and pathways for us to journey and walk through. It does not belong to a land. It does not belong to specific people. It does not belong to specific cultures. It's timeless, it's cosmic. And if it belongs to anybody, if it belongs to Pachamama. So for this reason, we always say that these powerful ancestral traditions are opening up in these times for the global family because we have that global consciousness. In ancient times, it was secret and it was hidden, it was accessible only in specific regions and only for people in those regions. So there was a very important reason why this sacred knowledge had to be kept in a place guarded and protected. Though in these times, it is becoming part of a global family, global community. So it needs to be part of that global circle.
Mm. Very well said. And you've got my mind ticking away of next questions, because if I can speak from my own experience living in Western Australia and growing up in a small town similar to Chincero where we are, being very connected to the land, to the animals, to feathers, to rocks, to stones, and to, seeing energy, feeling energy was very foreign, and it was sometimes a little bit frightening, the things that I experienced without, going into all of it, but having, multiple near-death experiences and things. There was also a lot of questions of like, who am I? Like, it didn't feel like the shoe fit for me in Australia. And so what you were speaking about, I'm sure many people listening have maybe experienced their medicine, their gifts, their intuition, their, third eye opening, whatever you want to call it, happening in the recent years. What's your interpretation of why this is happening? Why there's like this global resurgence of medicine people, whatever background you're from, why is it that we're discovering these gifts now at this particular time?
I will refer to Pachacuti as a very powerful cosmic force here in our planet. As everything is cycles, solar cycles, lunar cycles, we have cosmic cycles that involve thousands of years, hundreds of years, specific cycles that our ancestors used to keep track of. Mm-hmm. And every 500 years, there is a powerful Pachacuti. There's a powerful awakening and transition in evolution. And for these times, our ancestors have prophesied that we are going to wake up, that we are going to evolve. We are no longer going to be the unevolved human generations, because that time is complete. Mm-hmm. And this is why that consciousness, that wisdom, that energy is coming back. And when I say coming back, it is not in ourselves. What I want to share, according to the sacred wisdom we have, is it was always within you. For the sake of living here on Mother Earth, every secret coding of this planet is encoded in your DNA, in your genes. You have a connection, all of you, to very powerful ancestral lines in any part of the planet. Therefore, that ancestral knowledge and ancestral wisdom lives within you. It only needs to wake up in these times, because these are the times for it to be activated. These are the times when we need global level healers. This is when we need global leaders and guides. This is when we need powerful assistance and support in the collective global processes we have. So whether we feel ready or not, we are living in the times when we almost have no choice but to wake up and be part of this powerful Pachacuti. This Pachacuti means a new humanity in our planet, a new consciousness. The process is not immediate. The process takes many generations. The beauty of our presence here right now, though, is we are the generation that witness. We are the generation that welcome. We are the ones who are present when the Pachacuti arrives. So those of us who choose to wake up and evolve at accelerated levels, awesome. And those we don't, also awesome, because we don't have to live in a specific way. We just need to be honored and privileged for being here in these times. We are powerful guardians. This is going to wake up from within, and it's going to wake up those ancestral codings throughout the planet. This is a powerful cosmic project that we are a part of.
Yes, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You mentioned the information or the wisdom or maybe the blueprint for this new humanity being encoded in our DNA. Now, obviously, these sacred plant medicines that you work with here in the Andes, Wachuma, ayahuasca, and the plant kingdom that is very much online right now. Why is it that these medicines in particular are so essential, or they're finding their way to the far corners of the globe? They're no longer just isolated in South America. What role do you believe ayahuasca and Wachuma and these sacred allies are playing in this global awakening?
First, I want to say that these are master plants. They're timeless spirits. They come from the cosmos and they live here in the earth through these powerful master plants. They're conscious, they're intelligent, and they're very powerful. We are privileged to have them as part of our lives, as part of our living traditions and culture still, with ayahuasca in the Amazon and with San Pedro throughout the coastal north, not even the mountains. It was more towards the coast in those pre-Incan temples all the way up to Ecuador area, which is also where we have the best varieties of San Pedro and Wachuma that I was very happy to hear it grows in Australia, and it loves to grow there and in California. And then there's other varieties that are being taken to different parts of the planet. In Europe, that is also starting to love that land. They're conscious, they're intelligent plants. They will go to any part of the planet where they need, where they would like to support and assist the awakening and these accelerated healing processes. Normally, without these sacred plants, we would go through healing processes, through awakening processes over many years, 10 years, 20 years of strong spiritual practices, disciplines. And thanks to ayahuasca, it can activate that genetic coding with one vision. It's so abstract. All you see is pyramids. All you see is flowers. All you see is something very strange. And yet the next day, you are never the same person ever again. In one overnight, you were able to achieve what normally was taking many years. And that's how miraculous and magical these plants are. We believe Wachuma in a specific process, because Wachuma likes to take its process. It can change your genetic coding, and therefore it can heal whatever illnesses. Ayahuasca resets your genetic coding and starts generating brain cells, new brain cells. Therefore, it has the power to give you a completely new personality, a new being. So, because this is necessary throughout the planet, these master plans are arriving in the way that are arriving in different parts of the world. And unfortunately, because of the, I will say, lineage that backs you up, and it's an ancestral lineage, because of the wisdom and the sacred knowledge that's still alive in a lot of these communities and sacred lands where these plants are native. When we're missing that part, unfortunately, a lot of people are also having hard processes, psychologically, emotionally, not physically, because physically it's always a purge, it's always a cleansing, but some people have had permanent traumas, permanent fears, and for that reason, they were not able to invite that miracle into their lives, which originally these plants are there for. So I always encourage for a powerful ancestral lineage to back up the medicine practice, and for my brothers and sisters to return to those masters who are keeping it alive and receive from them the blessings, but most importantly, the teachings and the traditions of how to work with these master plants, because it is highly miraculous, it is very powerful, therefore also involves big integrity, respect, and love.
Yes. Yeah, and so Puma, something that's very important in that space then is making sure that who you're sitting the medicine with, do your own research per se, and know that you're going to be held safely and with the right, integrity from the facilitators. Something that obviously happens here so beautifully in this space is, the powerful facilitators and the beautiful, container that's held, where you just feel so safe and so much love, and you really can allow the medicine to do its thing. But an important part of that is the Icaros. So why the Icaros, or the medicine songs, so important in ceremony?
Actually, the Icaros are powerful portals. They are powerful spirit allies we call when we are in ceremony. And while they don't have a language coding, I will say, they have a spirit code. They have an energy vibration code. So you can sing in English, you can sing in Spanish, you can sing in Shipibo, you can sing in Quechua. What the feeling, what the intent, what the vision is as you're singing the Icaros is the essence of the medicine. With these powerful Icaros, we're able to produce magic, we're able to produce miracles for family and community. Some Icaros are for close-up healing work. Some Icaros are for long-distance healing work. Some Icaros are for working on your physical body. Some Icaros are for working on your life path and soul mission and life purpose. So you can see they're very important elements, like when you have a smudge to bless a sacred space, you need incense, you need Palo Santo, you need at least the ash, you need the fire. Icaros are those elements that become a part of a greater ceremony that is happening cosmically. And it's very important to learn the essence of these powerful Icaros from the original masters, because when we are missing that, often the ceremony is open. Unconsciously, when you're not working consciously with the oracles or with the Icaros, unconsciously you could be calling in hard processes, heavy energies. So for this reason, it's very important to be really aware where these powerful Icaros are coming from. They come from the frequency of the medicine. They're downloaded from the cosmos, and they're also received as offerings from Pachamama. They're the only ones who are giving these Icaros first to you. And about what you just said, who you drink the medicine with, I would like to clarify this. It is not about the shaman. For me, I will always say, anybody who wants to work with these master plants, you need to have the intention that your connection will be directly with the spirit of the medicine. The medicine man or medicine woman there with you, facilitating that process, is a guardian. Sometimes a guide, but most importantly, a powerful protector to make sure that you are in that sacred space and safe space for these miracles to arrive. When it's not safe, there are many heavy energies that want to sabotage that process, and it becomes unsafe. Not because the shaman is not good, because you did not focus on connecting with the spirit directly.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Pleiades. I love hearing you talk about our cosmic birth and where we came from potentially and what the understanding is here. But can you tell us a little bit about the importance of the seven sisters and the Pleiades for us mellow little human beings down here on Earth?
We're not that mellow little human beings. We're children of the sun and the moon, and the stars are our family. They're our brothers and sisters. So the Pleiades constellation is a sacred home, is a sacred place of origins. Each of these stars are storehouses. Each of these stars for us are origins of infinite blessings manifested here in this earth. Whatever you needed in life, whatever you needed for life, you could find it in the Pleiades. You just had to ask these goddesses, and it was going to be manifested here. In ancient times, what they needed was peace. In ancient times, what they needed was for the elementals to calm down whenever there was major floodings, whenever there was earthquakes, whenever there was fires. They used to ask for abundance and prosperity in their harvests. They wanted, whenever there was viruses going in huge magnitudes, they would ask the Pleiades to send the healing, and it was manifested. This powerful star constellation is a storehouse of blessings for our planet, and it's also our sacred origins.
And so, with the beliefs of the Quechua, the Quieros, when we transition from this lifetime, is there reincarnation? What's the belief system? Where does our soul maybe take off to after the earth realm?
In the Andean belief system, there is no reincarnation of the soul. Rather, there's a reincarnation of spirit. So our soul is a light essence that journeys from the divine origins, arrives to this earth, and experiences, receives the gifts of life, experiences the miracle of life, and when it's complete, it returns to the divine origins. According to our ancestors, you don't journey by yourself. You are actually carried. You are protected in the journey. There's a black dog that always looks after your soul. There's a crystal condor that carries your soul across multiverses to arrive here and then back to the divine origins. Only when you are here, your spirit force, your life force, and that essence light can incarnate in literally anything and everything that is present here on Mother Earth, such as time and space. Only while you're here, you can return to thousands of years in the past, to thousands of years in the future, and connect and incarnate in those times and those places through animal spirits, elementals, essences, cosmic forces. That's why in our Mesa we have a very special levels of practice in our sacred medicine bundle where we know which portals we want to open and we want to enter. We are cosmic travelers, and we intentionally and purposefully travel through those dimensions, even simultaneously. While I am here in ceremony with you, I could intentionally be in other parallel dimensions on purpose so that I can take offerings from this life, from this land, to that time and that place, to that specific realm. So only while you're here, and thanks to the force of a spirit, can you incarnate in that infinity of powerful interdimensional being. But once your soul transitions from this physical body, you can no longer have that permission. Your journey now is back to the divine origins. That is the way our ancestors had seen it here in the Andes.
Beautiful. You mentioned the Mesa, which we'll get to in a second, but just what you said on returning to the divine origins, something that I've heard of or read of is we have this cosmic birth pain where we come down here to Earth, or we volunteered potentially of we're going to go down there and we're going to see what it's all about, and we have this feeling of missing home. Maybe it is potentially that divine origin or that star system that we're missing, where it was peaceful and it was blissful. So can you highlight anything on that?
Our cosmic being is also interdimensional, and our soul essence transcends time and space. Time and space portals are only for us here in this planet, but not for our soul. So for our soul is a more transcendental journey. It's a more transcendental process. It can be in a million universes in a millionth of a second. So it's that infinite and that powerful. But some of us in that soul journey never completely arrive here. For whatever reasons, maybe because of our processes here with our parents, maybe because of our first experiences as soon as we were born. And that's why sometimes we live our life missing our home, missing our sacred origins. In some cases, we just had it. Like we don't harmonize with the processes of this earth because we know the soul consciousness and life is completely different than what we're experiencing here. So some of us also feel the eagerness, the rush to return. Like we're not comfortable here. So it's normal. It's part of our human process, not the soul process. The soul make agreements and contracts to affect that process in this earth, but it's only part of our humanity.
So one of the things I heard you say was about harmonizing.
I'm gonna change the card and then the battery.
Yeah.
In this card.
What does the time say on the phone? The timestamp.
34. 34. Okay. Go whenever you feel.
So one of the things I heard you say there, Puma, was about harmonizing our processes. And if I may say so myself, one of the core teachings that you share with our global family is about the Mesa and our medicine bundle. So what's the importance of a Mesa, and why are you teaching people around the world how to work with the Mesa?
The original tradition of this part of the Andes, specifically this region, is every healer, every woman, and every man of medicine needs to carry a medicine bundle. And this medicine bundle is nothing more than the heart of Pachamama, than the heart of our Apus, the heart of the crystal condor, crystal puma, crystal serpent, crystal hummingbird. And it's a backup heart. Apparently, as a healer, you can only take on so much until it starts affecting you. And, if you take on the process of family, of community, eventually it can make you collapse if that process is too intense. But when you have a mesa, which is a backup heart, this is a heart of Pachamama, this is a heart of the mountain spirits that can take on anything. You could take on the processes of the whole global family, planetary family, and you'll still be awesome. You'll still be cool. For this reason, we have a backup heart as a medicine bundle. And when it's open, is your personal altar. I must say, our ancestors were very clever. They were geniuses to actually have even conceived a personal altar, because life is about living in altars for us. Why? Because every second of our lives is sacred and it's divine, it's blessed. And we are living in the altar of our homes, we are living in the altar of our communities, we are living in the altar of this physical temple. And while those altars belonged to Mother Earth, while those altars belonged to life, they actually thought you need to have an altar that is only for you. And there was a personal altar. Not only it was a personal altar for you and for you only, it was an altar you could carry wherever you went. So there was no excuse, oh, I need to arrive to the altar to be in ceremony. You could open your altar anywhere and be in ceremony ever, always. And you could always call anybody who you believed to be sacred and divine to be in sacred alliance with. So this sacred altar is for powerful communion, is for powerful spiritual communion, is for you to have spirit in the center of life. So this is a tradition of this part of the Andes. And then there's a tradition of the great mesa, or the northern altars, which are much bigger, of the Guachumeros, the carriers of San Pedro. They have giant mesas. We have all of those traditions. Or the ayahuasqueros, whose altar is two crystals hanging in a pouch or in the pocket, secret that nobody sees, and that's their sacred altar. So it's different the way our ancestors have conceived these powerful altars. Though what we believe is, when you are in front of this personal altar, you are connected with anybody throughout the planet who is also in front of an altar, regardless of the belief system, spiritual practices, religions that they have. An altar is still an altar. So for that reason, you're still in powerful communion.
I love that. And I love the notion of make life a ceremony. And something that I've noticed in Australia in the last year or two is just the number of people that are now setting up their own personal altar in their home, in their studio, in their living room. Even friends of mine that I know years ago, would never have thought they'd have a table in their living room with crystals and Palo Santo and incense and things. So it really is a consciousness that is spreading, and it's exciting. With that being said, something that I'm really excited about, or I love hearing this, is around the rainbow prophecy and around the rainbow races. And if you visit Peru, you'll see so much color, so much rainbow, different color, different textiles, different patterns that are all a tapestry trying to tell a story. But in that little spiel there, Puma, you spoke about when you're sitting at an altar in your home, you're connected to all these people around the world, different cultures, different races, different creeds, different beliefs. Is this what we're moving towards? Is this the new humanity, where it is about all people coming together, regardless of race and culture? What's your understanding of this rainbow idea, this rainbow prophecy?
For us, this was always where we were. We were always connected. We were always part of a rainbow family of living light, of cosmic light. For us, it's like when this cosmic light arrives to the earth, it goes through a portal where it becomes the 7 rays of the rainbow. And each ray arrives to different parts of our planet. And in each part of our planet becomes unique as the colors of the rays of the rainbow. One of those rays is here in the Andes, and the other rays are in different parts of our planet. Whenever we connect with one ray, we may not know all the other 6 rays, but we are connected to the original light. That's why they all carry a powerful essence. While they can be unique and different, they also all are, in essence, that original light. So we are that rainbow family, and we are that rainbow culture. Here in the part of the Andes, we connect to only one of those rays. The rest of the rays we need to connect with as we travel throughout the planet, as we connect with powerful medicine carriers and lineage carriers throughout the planet. It is not what we're moving towards. We have always been in it. We're only becoming conscious of it and awakening to the magic and reality of it.
Amazing, awesome, as you say. And again, it gets me thinking of 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 Pleiades, 7 chakras, 7 sacred seals. Where's this symbology of 7 come from? Can you shine any light on that?
In the Andean tradition, 7 is kanchis, and kanchis means we are. Kanchis is absolute point of equilibrium and absolute balance. So the alchemy and the miracle and the magic of 7 in the Andes is what brings balance, is what brings communion. So that is what for us represents this sacred 7.
Beautiful. An amazing little segue, because I wanted to speak about balance and harmony. Because if we look at the media, if we look at the news, if we get fed from that machine, we see destruction, we see chaos, we see disorder, we see fighting, we see war. But really, as an individual, what we can be doing to contribute to the greater whole is finding balance and harmony within ourselves. So what does that look like? What is somebody sitting at home in Australia or Canada or France or wherever, if they're hearing this podcast, what can they be doing to ensure they're finding balance, they're finding harmony, and ultimately they're coming back to right relationship with self, with others, and with Pachamama?
To all my brothers and sisters throughout the planet, I would say, remember who you are. You are a child of Pachamama. You are a child of the light. You are a child of the sun. So becoming conscious of that light is the first step. As soon as you become conscious and you say, I am Pachamama's child, I am the suns and the moons and the stars' light, that already will be a powerful self-realization. Remember why you are here. You are here to be in service. You are here to be in ceremony, but most importantly, you are here to be in love. Apparently, one of the most powerful soul contracts that we need to have before arriving to this life is to experience love in all of its powerful dimensions. And you are here, in many cases, for many of us, only to fall in love, be in love, love unconditionally, to give and receive love constantly. Only. And everything else was complementary. You could or not do that complementary part of your mission. But what you had to fulfill, yes or yes, was being in love. I would say to my brothers and sisters, remember to deepen your roots into Pachamama. There are powerful ancestral traditions right there where you are that you need to connect with. And those ancestral spirits, knowledge are waiting for you to open up your whole being so that you can receive that knowledge and wisdom and be of best service to your family and your community where you are. That ancestral spirit force is not only here in the Andes, it's not only in some ancient temples in different parts of the planet. It's right downtown in the very big cities of our planet, because those are cellular clusters of cosmic forces. There's a reason why those cities are there. In the center of downtown, any city in the planet, there is a vortex. And there's a presence of powerful ancestral forces to connect with. That's what I would like to tell you. The second you open yourself, your heart to these powerful ancestral forces, powerful magical journeys in your sacred spiritual path will begin.
Wow, what a message to be able to integrate at home and to listen to. And I've only got a couple more questions, but one of them, leads off the back of that, which is, for me, it hurts, and there's often a lot of pain and grief for our Indigenous brothers and sisters, especially in Australia. And at often times I feel helpless, that I can't do more, that I can't support them and provide for them and help them to really rise up and share. Is there anything you can share with our listeners, and for me as well, of how we can support our wisdom keepers? And I don't know if a lot of people realize in Australia how destroyed and how hurt a lot of our Indigenous people have been. What can we do, as humans, as fellow human beings, to support our Indigenous, wisdom keepers and guardians?
As a native Indigenous leader of this land, especially in my youth, representing our communities throughout the planet, I will say there is not much we need for you to do. But we would always ask for being witnessed. I don't know if you understand that being witnessed means being present for. If you are present for our Indigenous people, you will receive the teachings, you will receive the prophecies, you will receive the stories, you will receive the wisdom. If you open your heart and you respect the native Indigenous people throughout the planet, many powerful portals will open up for you anywhere where you are, for you to always be backed up by these powerful ancestral forces. I will say, in many parts of our planet, our native Indigenous people do not need much from the Western world, because it's already a little bit messed up. Though what we need is to be witnessed, because a lot of our powerful elders are leaving, are transitioning without passing on powerful wisdom and powerful traditions that are necessary to maintain balance and equilibrium for generations to come. And I will say, my brother, you can always do more. Never limit yourself. If there is a possibility for you to support our elders, our native, our Indigenous brothers and sisters in Australia, in the Andes, anywhere in the planet, do so. And if you feel limited, always know you can do more.
Thank you, Puma. And for those listening at home, there's obviously been a lot of amazing teachings and wisdom shared from Puma, and he has a beautiful team here and a family in Chincero. You may be feeling that call, you may be feeling the call to come to the Andes, but as Puma said, you can receive your guidance, your medicine, your teachings right where you are at home. If you are feeling, called to Peru to maybe accelerate that process or to experience these powerful sacred medicines, how can our community globally connect with you, Puma, and how can they find out about what you're up to moving forward?
Dear Shaun, my brother, please share our website. We have a website for our school. It's very small, very not a big thing in Peru. There are so many schools, there are so many centers. One of them is one of the community. And it's Noqan Kani. That's the name of our school. And our brother is going to share the links or whatever to the website. And yes, you're always welcome. You have your brother, you have your family here, you have your whole community here waiting for you. Peru and the Andes right now is a very important epicenter. It's a vortex where powerful activation of healing and awakening is happening for the whole planet. for a little bit more. When that is complete, that energy will also move to another part of the planet, according to our prophecies.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time today, Puma. Thank you for your medicine, your energy, your blessings. Is there any final words you'd like to share with the audience?
Infinite blessings. Be awesome, be happy, and be in love. Thank you, Shaun.
Thank you.
Infinite
Papi.
gratitude.
Gracias.
Gracias.